Tony Pratt.
Yep.
Oh, apparently we're being live streamed right now. I
Are
have
we live right now?
successfully done it twice. Welcome to we're going to call this episode one.
Yeah, episode one
Episode
of
one,
the new Bald Guys.
the new and improved,
Bald Guy.
upgraded version, no longer affiliated with that evil empire of Facebook. We have switched allegiances to YouTube. Jean, two bald guys are back.
It's about time. I'm sure our 12 fans are just over the moon that we're back.
They are. I am sure of it. I need you to talk for a minute so I can post the link to the actual video of what we're doing, and
Okay.
then we will be good to go.
So have you heard about the trade between the Islanders and Chicago? The
So
Islanders
the
traded
draft
back
trade,
in the first and second round to
I
acquire
I
a second
did
round pick.
I did. I thought that was kind of an odd trade.
This far away from the draft. Usually this is a trade day, like a draft day trade, the evening before the draft trade, like a month before the draft. They've traded the Islanders went back two spots in the first round from 18 to 20, and then in the second round from 50 to 54 to acquire pick 61.
I,
So
I did see the trade, and like I haven't really looked at it too much, but it tells me it tells me that two things. One is I think they overpaid to move up two spots, and then it's like four in the second round or
yeah,
something, right?
yeah. I think they
Like
overpaid
they gave
also.
up a lot to move up two spots and four spots, and but it tells me that they must really have like they've been mocking like mocking drafts
I,
all over the
I
place, and they think that there's a guy two spots above that's going to be there for them that they want.
I think they at 18 is where their drop off happens.
Yeah.
And at 20, they didn't think their guy was going to be there.
Well, they probably looked at it with 18 or 19 guys they want, and any one
That
of those guys that are
or
good.
they're trying to move up some more. And let's say
Well,
they want
that's
to go to 14 or 15, it's easier to go from to 14 or 15 from 18 than from 20. But again, giving up pick 61 is a lot, in my
well
opinion.
because as somebody who like I've dived, I've dove deep into the second round, and there's guys that I think in the third round that I'll be really happy to get.
Yeah.
So like they must really, like you said, there must really be that big dip at 18.
And I think the Islanders need prospects. So adding a second round pick is good for them, but also I think the Islanders might be looking to make a bigger splash, and adding that second round pick might help them.
Well, it makes a lot of sense for the Islanders, but why are they giving up so much to move up? Like again, first round to me, the difference between 18 and 20 is negligible.
Yeah.
And like
So
it's 54 and six. What was the other one? It was like
50
54
to
and
54.
50 to 54.
Yeah.
I I pick at 44, I think, somewhere around there. I have Minnesota's pick. And I can't. No, it'll be later than 44.
You
32
have
plus.
Minnesota's pick?
Yeah, it'll be like 54. It'll be right around there. I can't. I can't see how. Like I'm quite happy that I'm pretty sure I'm gonna get a guy I like at that second round pick. Like I don't want to
It's
move
either
up.
56 or 57, I think, Steve.
Oh, for Minnesota,
Yeah.
but still, like I've done a big deep dive into the second round.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm waiting for the NHL draft to happen, but I it's a pretty big price to pay. Now maybe they're not worried. They've got a lot of prospects that they've accumulated over the last couple of years. They're like wants one last second round pick. But wow, that was a surprise. That was 2 days ago, was it?
Yeah. 2 days ago.
Yeah, I was at a summit this weekend, so I
So
may or may not remember. Oh, and the GM from Carolina's out. That's the other thing I know.
he's in Columbus.
Oh, did they hire him in Columbus?
They supposedly he's going to be president of hockey operation, and they're going to hire a GM for the Blue Jackets. So
Oh, that's cool.
so it's
Did they? Was there like he was going to be fired? Was his contract expiring? Like what?
he has one
Why
year
would they
left.
just let him apply somewhere else?
He has 1 year left, and because it's a promotion, you there's a non-written rule in the NHL that if a guy goes for a promotion that you can't
Oh, okay,
withhold him. You can't hold him back.
okay.
So, but also it looks like him and the owner weren't getting along, and the owner wanted the assistant GM as the GM in Carolina. Can't remember his name.
The owner?
The the assistant GM there in Carolina. I can't remember his name, but
Oh, the one they just hired as the interim.
yeah, he's interim GM right now. So, so yeah, it's either he only had one year left on his contract, so it's
See, I guess better now than in a few weeks when the draft is, right? Like,
yeah. And if they weren't planning to keep him, you know what I mean? If you're like,
well, exactly.
if we're thinking of maybe firing him because they expected to make it to the finals and they got knocked out in the second round.
I can't see it. Like if I'm the owner, like, I think they've underperformed in the playoffs the last few years. So,
Yeah,
like, I think change. I mean, it's not as bad as Toronto where they're not making it out of the first round, but I,
I know.
I think they've underperformed. Like, I think their team is better than. Although I've never been convinced that Freddie Anderson is the
He
guy
played
that's going to
well.
get you there.
He played well when he was like the only problem that he has is he's always hurt.
Well, I think they tended to overplay him in the regular season, but I think Toronto did. And I think Carolina's done a much better job of resting him.
Mm-hmm.
So,
So
but
uh,
that's like Corey, I would love for you to come on the show sometime and tell us what's going on in Carolina.
yes, that would be
John,
awesome.
you didn't know that he was a reporter
I didn't
and
know until a few weeks ago when you told me.
yeah.
So
So he's the guy to get all the info. But I'm surprised Carolina wasn't going to make a move on coach actually after the playoffs. I just feel like Carolina was a team that like
but
if they like I'm surprised they're not in this semifinal right now or or conference final.
if he was not re-signed by Carolina, there would have been a lineup knocking at Rod DeBod's door to sign him with tons of money. Lots of money. There isn't one team in the NHL that would not want Rod DeBot as their coach.
Oh, someone's messaging me. Oh, it's my neighbor. She wants me to hire her son to do yard work.
Yeah.
There you go. So if you live in the Toronto area and you have a son that wants to do yard work, just give me a call. Because nothing makes you more employable to me than your mom calling me and trying to
Yeah.
get you hired. I'm just
Hey,
saying.
so the question I have for you is she asking you because you're a nice guy, or is she asking you because your yard sucks and she thinks that her son can do a better job than you can?
Okay. Okay. Here it's funny. We're gonna talk not hockey for a little bit here. But at the end of last summer,
Yeah.
our lawnmower died. And like any person, your lawnmower dies in October. When do you think about it? You don't think about it. I thought about it in April.
Yes.
And it took me a month to get my lawnmower fixed. So my lawn was growing. I had to whippersnip the backyard because it was so long.
You
It
see?
was so
So she's
so the
saying,
front. And I was away working all weekend at a swim meet, and I think you have at least some semblance of an idea of what working at a swim meet is for a swim coach. It's a lot of work.
it is exhausting.
I, so there ain't, and I've been there. It was 4 days, Thursday through tonight, and there ain't no freaking way I'm coming home on one of those days and pushing a lawnmower. I was planning on always pushing it tomorrow. But
Yeah.
who am I? Who am I to say no to a 15-year-old who's looking for a little extra cash? Hell yeah. When I was 15, I was mowing lawns. Like, bring it, baby.
Yeah.
Your kid wants, like, he wants to make some money. Great. I got a bunch of shit I need done that I haven't had time. So come on over. Like, and I ain't talking to your mom. Like, let's go.
Yeah.
I got twigs that need tying. I got weeds that need pulling, and I got a lawn that needs mowing. So
Yeah.
I am all for child labor in these circumstances. So
I'm with you.
bring it.
So go back to how hard it is to work at a swim meet. If nobody knows, it's a lot of fun. It's extremely rewarding. But after that day, after that weekend, you just get home, have a beer, and go to bed.
I, I it's funny because I do something like I it's wine for me if I'm going to do that. But a lot of times it will be take a bath, turn out the light, like total sensory deprivation, like
Mm-hmm.
darkness and quiet. Like I can't because it's so loud, it's so hot, and it's so long. Like you any noise, anything, any it's just crazy.
Yeah. How many
Like
kids do you have on your team?
oh, I was looking after two groups this weekend. So I was double timing it. Um I was looking after about 40 kids, I guess,
Yeah.
30 to 40. But it's I mean,
40
kids swam
kids.
great. Kids swam great. Tons of
Yeah.
medals. Like awesome. Lots of fun. Like Jess says, lots of fun. But don't anybody think I don't work for my for my living because wow,
I,
it was
yes,
mm.
absolutely. Absolutely.
Anyway. So yeah, I wanted a couple things I wanted to talk about because we haven't talked forever. Like we
I know.
really haven't talked forever. The NHL draft lottery, San Jose won. Like
Yeah.
that's
Nothing happened.
well, exactly. Like that is, and isn't it like the NHL to make that show so uninspiring and unexciting and like it's like okay, San Jose won. Okay, bye.
But
Like,
I think they changed the odds, right?
no,
A
the
couple
odds are the
years
same.
ago.
Oh, a few years ago, yeah.
Yes,
Yes.
they changed the odds a few years ago because I think Philly and the Rangers went up 10 spots or 12 spots, both of them.
Oh, well, the year
And New
the Rangers
Jersey
went
and
up was the COVID year,
yeah.
2020, when they won Lafreniere, and because they were knocked out in the first round of that bubble
But also I
fiasco.
think Philly and New Jersey also went up quite a few spots.
New Jersey has. I don't think Philly has.
So the year that Philly drafted, yes, the Kel McCarr draft.
Oh. Okay, yeah. Sorry, that they didn't get the guy they drafted isn't playing anymore, so it's
Nolan
like they
Patrick.
didn't.
And but
Yeah,
Philly moved up
yeah.
like a long way.
Nico Heischer went first overall, and Patrick went second. And Patrick played a handful of games, and
Yeah, 2017.
yeah,
2017 and New Jersey and Philly went up like
I think
a
back
lot.
then it was 3 teams, wasn't it? That went up.
Yeah. But Dallas was then in the bottom five, but New Jersey and Philly came from a long ways back in 2017. So it but since then they changed the odds and there's very little movement. I'll tell you for the draft lottery, if you ask me my opinion, which nobody is asking,
John,
um,
what's your opinion?
I think every year it should be every single team in the NHL. Every single team, you won a Stanley Cup, you're in a draft lottery. Everybody. And everybody has the same odds. How when they came back from the lockout in 2004 and they did a draft lottery for every single team, I was glued to the TV watching to see who was gonna like is was somebody gonna move up, from 20 to 2 or from
Yeah,
26 to 1. I was glued to the TV. This year, the draft lottery, and my team was in the lottery. I didn't even like I knew what was happening. I didn't even tune in.
I I was listening to it on the radio because Ottawa radio actually covered it.
Yeah, but I didn't even listen to the radio. I didn't watch TV. Nothing. I found out after on my
Well,
way home.
and I think that's just the NHL. Just of all the leagues, they do the shittiest job of marketing stuff. Like, like that should be like fireworks and like
Yeah,
like huge thing. Celebrini going to San Jose, and his dad works in is it the Golden State Warriors? Like he's in
yep,
town.
yep,
Like, man, like market the shit out of that show. Like that
yep.
that should be an exciting. Like it's they do a half hour, but freaking stick like a Bob McKenzie draft thing right before it, and then do
Mhm.
right after it. Do like bring on some celebrity guys and do a mock draft for those teams right after. Like make a big freaking splash out of it, and not just make it a 10-minute, 15-minute.
Yeah.
Wah,
So,
wah.
yeah. So that's my opinion is and if they decide only the teams that didn't make the playoffs get in the draft lottery, or all the teams got knocked out in the first round, including and everybody's got the same odds.
Well, the reason they switched it to the odds and the moving up 10 spots now was because Steve Eiserman and some other GMs complained because Eiserman, like the Wings were so bad for so long and never got it. Teams just kept moving up above them, and
Yep,
they never got any
yep.
good players. But
But
I'm kind of
to
like you a
me,
little bit in the I don't want teams tanking.
yeah.
So
But if you go every team, all the teams that then got eliminated from the playoffs, the 16, plus the teams that made it in the first round, that got eliminated in the first round. So now you're gonna have 24 teams, same odds all the time. People are gonna be glued to the TV to look at that. And also my another thing that I think that the NHL should do is a little bit pretty much the same thing as the NBA is either there's a play-in tournament.
Yeah.
So you finish 7 and 8 or 8 and 9 and you have to have a play-in tournament. Or 7, 8 and 9 and 10 play-in tournament. I think it would be awesome. Just imagine you like
See, what I like about the idea of a play-in tournament, because I've thought about this as well for hockey, is it lets the better teams give them like just make it a best of three and do it in 4 nights. That
yeah.
give that 4 nights to the other teams to rest, like
So
that they don't have to play and they can rest their players, recover from injuries, that kind of thing.
so
And
look, wild card. Tampa Bay had a good had more points than like had 98. But then you had Washington, Detroit, Pittsburgh, and Philadelphia, all within 4 points of each other. So, like play-in tournament, you add those teams in the play-in tournament, then you've got these cities like they were glued to the TV. They were in until the last minute. But to me, that'd be awesome. And then include everybody in the draft and go from there. You would avoid tanking. You would avoid, like teams completely destroying their teams for that.
well, look at our league. Like I don't think we've had the last place team win the
The
draft
lottery
lottery yet.
once?
I don't think so.
I don't know.
I, the year I won it, that I moved up and I picked second. I moved up from seventh,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
Detroit moved up from like third, I think.
And I think Tampa Bay had the Ducks pick from 6, right?
Yeah.
So
And the funny thing was the year I won it, I moved up. Mark passed me from behind, I guess. Like
yeah.
I he went to 6. I passed him in the final week. I was double shifting Ovechkin. Like I'm still gonna play. Like
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and I went, and if Mark had not, he would have won the draft lottery and he'd be with Slavkovsky right now.
Yeah.
Like so, what's the point if anybody can win it and your lottery ball is going to come up or not? You might as well just play it out. Like I don't know, like you don't know who's going to win it. Won it this year, Montreal. Montreal was third worst. Is that right?
Yeah. Something like that. It was they weren't very good.
So yes,
So
I mean, according to former GM, it was all rigged anyway. So why bother? Well,
no, it
since
was
it's
the
all rigged
Rangers.
anyway. What's
It
that?
was the Rangers pick that won it. Rangers, Seattle, then Leafs.
Oh,
Rangers came in from 4th.
And this brings up the other thing that's come up in the last week. Mitchkov looks like he's coming.
Yes.
He looks like he's coming. And the Rangers, think if the Rangers had still had that pick, that'd be Celebrini and Mitchkov. Like if Mitchkov's like he might play next year.
Mm-hmm.
Like hell yeah, that is awesome. Good job.
Yeah.
Good job, Rangers GM for
Former
because he
Rangers GM.
oh it's not the same guy. It's not Ramos. It's the same
No,
guy.
no, 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 no. It was your favorite Rangers GM.
No, I thought Ramos took over before then.
Oh,
They came,
okay. Yes, he said he was going to take Mishkov, and Ramos took Mishkov anyways.
my former my
Yeah.
former friend.
So
No, not ever, never. But yeah, no, like that's a damn good, damn good risk that he took. Because I mean, if anybody can be Connor Bedard level from that draft, it'll be Mitch Cobb. I don't know
yeah,
that anyone will, but and what I watched at the Worlds, Connor Bedard, I was not blown away with Connor Bedard.
yeah, he got benched in the semifinals or bronze medal game.
Oh yeah,
It was in the semifinals.
I listened to
He
the
got
game on the
benched in the
radio
third
today.
period, and then they put him on for the shootout, and he scored.
Oh,
So
I listened to the game on the radio today, and I heard Dawson Mercer's name way more than I heard Connor Bedard's. So,
he didn't play. Well, third period at least.
well,
And he was going into the game as a 13th forward.
so there you go. There you go. So Mitch Goff. What else are we going to talk about here? We talked about draft lottery. I like your idea, by the way, of the draft lottery. Although I don't know about teams that make the playoffs, like that many. I don't know. Because
I don't
there's
know.
good teams that lose in the first round.
Yeah.
Do they really need, like, who lost in the first round this year in the NHL?
Mhm.
Winnipeg. Winnipeg's a good team.
Yeah.
Do they
Yeah.
really need a Macklin
Ottawa.
Celebrini? Well, Ottawa's a team that could use a Macklin Celebrini. Although I don't think Ottawa's problems would be
To put him
solved
with
by Macklin.
Slavkowski. Like I'm in like I'm part of like I'm at the bottom there. Like I was hoping to win on the draft lottery. I was number 10. And I'm saying add some more teams. So
I can confirm that we did before we did the actual draft lottery. We did like did about five or so test runs to show the guys how it worked. Your team won one of those test runs.
really? We should have
Really?
went with that result.
Well, you see, what I do is okay, this is how it works. We do a bunch of random ones. And then when we're done that, I say pick a number between 1 and 5. We'll do that many random ones. And then each of us takes a number, and then whatever the next one is, we go with. And we don't know what that is before we click on it. So it is entirely random when we get there. And we don't know who won when we've decided. So and
Talk
I'm
about
sorry.
teams, good teams get eliminated in the first round.
Yeah.
Dallas, New Jersey, Carolina, and the Vegas Golden Knights.
Look,
And
look,
the New York Islanders.
yeah, look at it, our league. New Jersey?
Yeah,
You think
all
New
that's our
Jersey
league.
should be in a
This is
draft
our league.
lottery? Hell no. Did he even have his first round pick? Like,
Mark and Flax again. Yeah, let's go with that.
yeah. Well, now we'll know if they're watching. Because
So
oh,
where can we see this amazing show that we're doing?
oh, it's on YouTube.
Okay.
I have posted a link
I'm
to
saying
it.
this for our listeners and for me. So
Okay, well, I have posted a link to it in the Facebook group. Like, you just click on the link,
oh
and
my God,
you're watching us live.
the people on Mark Zuckerberg is like you're using my group,
Well,
my
YouTube doesn't mind because YouTube will control the content now. They'll be able to advertise off of us, and they'll make millions of dollars advertising to our ones of listeners. And Facebook just had its nose on a joint that I'm paying Zoom here
yeah, and
to
not them.
and not them. So
So
come
there's
up with a system
I
that
don't know
makes
if
it
we have
easy.
any listeners, but nobody's commented.
Well, are you watching it on the YouTube?
Yeah, I just brought it up through the link. So if I
Well,
can figure it out, anybody can figure it out.
well, and like the other cool thing about the YouTube is they will send me the analytics, and I will know exactly how many. Like I can tell you right now how many people are watching. Let's see, 2 people are currently viewing. If one of them is possibly you.
Oh,
Oh, now we
three.
have 3. We are up to 3 people, and we've had 6 total people watching at some point.
So look at that, eh?
So I am pretty sure. And Zach and I talked about this the other day. We're gonna get one of those YouTube buttons right for over there, or I guess over there. Put it
So
right there.
so just so you know, we have 0 likes so far. Well, let's see how many likes we're gonna get by the end of the show. I'm gonna be like
I,
the podcasters I listen to. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
yes, exactly. And if you like the content, please leave a comment below and tell us your deepest, darkest secrets and blah blah blah. I don't know. I, I if YouTube, if you make money off of this, power to you, buddy. Power to you.
Yeah.
And because my wife still won't let me quit my job to become a YouTube star. She said I'm going to have to increase my followers substantially.
Yes.
I
From
think I'm at 2,
yeah.
and I don't even know how I got 2. Like I swear to God, I don't know who these 2 people are. So I don't know.
And
I think one is actually a kid I used to coach like 10 years ago who somehow found out that I posted some stuff on YouTube.
yeah,
I
well,
don't know. I have like this will be our second live video, but I posted the theme music to our podcast
did
in
you?
my videos.
That's
Yes.
good.
And I have 4 other videos that I've posted there. Just 2 of them are my dogs, and 2 of them I did for work when it was during COVID, when we were all locked in our houses and I had to do shit for the kids. So there you go. There was something else I wanted to bring up. Ottawa Senators hired a coach, Travis Green.
Yeah.
We have not talked about this yet.
Has it been that long?
It's been that long, John. Hey,
Wow.
like I I couldn't have been more yeah about a coach signing for the
So
Senators. I
I
don't
can
hate it. I don't hate it, but
okay.
there ain't a lot of excitement either.
I don't hate it now, but I will tell you, Justin was over that night when they hired him, and I didn't know that they hired him. So I'm like talking with him, and we're going over to coach, just talking what like we do,
Yeah,
just talking about hockey and the pool and players and the draft and the coaches. And he goes to me, was of all the coaches that they've mentioned, the last guy I wanted them to hire is Travis Green. I said, yeah, me too. I
ah,
said, wait a minute, wanted them to hire? Did they hire a coach? He goes, yeah, they announced it today. And I'm like, what the hell? So at first, I was pissed. As a Sens fan, I was like, who the hell are they going to get to hire to coach the team? But then I did my research and I listened and I observed, and I'm not as mad anymore. I'm accepting and I'm going to be giving him a chance.
well, the one thing I will say from what I've heard is he trains the shit out of them during
Yes.
training camp.
Yes.
And if a team that I've never seen a team come out and shit the bed in the first couple months of a season more than the Ottawa Senators. Like, if they come out and they are in shape and they are ready to go, then
Yep.
because
When
if Ottawa had 500 records in the months of October, November for each of the last 2 or
if
3 years, they would have been playoff teams.
if by December 1st they have next year, if they December 1st, they have a 500 record, it's going to be, they're going to have a shot at the playoffs
Yes,
by
because
December 1st.
they've been so bad. Like there was one year where it was like they had 1 or 2 wins the entire month of November. Like it was
Yep.
awful.
Yep.
Like
So
they keep playing themselves out of the playoffs so early in the season. So let's, if he does that, if he whips them into shape, and because I've Oliver Ekman Larson puking in the corner apparently is
uh,
a thing.
it's, he was lying in a fetal position in the corner. Like,
Sweet. Like if that's
and
if
then
that's
somebody
Thomas
puked,
Shabbat, like bring it on.
somebody
Bring
puked
it
on
on.
the ice, but I don't know who it was. And then there was another guy that was doing a star on the ice after their practice.
Good. Like so I think we're exactly the same, which kind of makes for bad TV here. And we got to start thinking like YouTube stars, Sean. Um, but I'm kind of the same way where it was like I fucking hated it. And then I was like, okay, well, but he's not awful. Like he's not, they could have hired someone way worse. And then it was like, okay, well, if he gives these guys a training camp like that, then bring it on. Like that's because that's the problem I think the club has had is had like some country club atmosphere in there. And
Yeah.
I think they need to hate their coach a little bit more.
Exactly. It was I didn't want another country club training camp.
Yeah.
I didn't want that anymore. But um what was the year that he was their coach? But I remember they had signed
2018.
Dominic Roussel. Vancouver had signed Dominic Roussel to a huge contract and a defenseman. And I'm like, okay, Roussel is a fourth line player, and the other and a defenseman was like a fifth, sixth defenseman. Like I can't remember who it was, but it was like I couldn't like that was one of the issues in Vancouver and during that time when he was a coach, is the GM was just signing anybody that was willing to take his money. And supposedly it was a shit show in Vancouver during that time. So I will give him the benefit of the doubt and see how he does. And let's hope that he changes and changes the atmosphere and the culture in Ottawa.
Okay. And what do you think about the Leafs firing? I
Who,
don't know. I forgot his name already. And hiring Berube.
okay, I think Berube is a good coach. I don't think he's as good a coach as everybody makes him out to be. I didn't want him in Ottawa. Like
Either
everybody
did
was
I.
like, you
Either
know
did
who the
I.
guy I wanted was Dean Evison. In
Okay.
Minnesota, the guy has like a 650 winning percentage in Minnesota. And remember that for those like last 3 years, $14 million a year was taken off his cap because they bought out Parise and Ryan Suter.
Yeah.
So that's the guy I wanted was Dean Evison. I think Berube winning the cup in St. Louis was like you can't take it away from him. He won it, which is amazing.
But I also see there the last place coach. He was like they were in last place halfway through the season.
No, he wasn't the coach. He wasn't the coach back then. He took over.
Oh, did he?
And when they were in last place when he took over, he took them to the cup.
Oh, okay.
So that's like catching lightning in a bottle to me. And then after that, he was okay. He wasn't great. So, and he coached in Philly. So I think he's a good coach. I just don't think he's as good as everybody makes him out to be, in my opinion. But it was just a matter of time before uh, the Leafs coach just left. Like they fired him. and to me, again, there's two things that I'll tell you about the Leafs. You can't win without defense, and their defense was like patchwork defense, and you can't win without good goaltending. And when you go into the like they won their games with Joseph Wall as their goalie. Like
I,
so
I
to
don't
me
think
they
I don't think Samsonov was why they were losing.
but he's not there. He didn't win any games for them.
No, you're right. You're right. But I don't
So
know.
so I don't think it's I think he's gonna the new I can't get his name right now. Uh, but he went to New Jersey. The
Yeah,
Leafs coach went to New Jersey, and I think he's gonna do awesome in New
Keith,
Jersey.
Sheldon Keith.
If the Sheldon Keefe, if they get a goalie.
Oh, I think that's a great signing for New Jersey. Like I don't think the problem in Toronto was Sheldon Keith.
No,
And
but it was time. He needed to get fired.
well, they needed to make a change.
Yeah, they
And
needed.
they're spending so much on cap on guys who aren't getting her done.
No,
Like Austin
exactly.
Matthews is a great player, but you need him. He's a great player. He needs to pick that team up and carry it, and he ain't
He
that guy.
a great regular season player.
Yeah, and the same thing. I see a lot of, and as Senator fan, you'll understand. I see a lot of when the Sens back in like the early
Yep,
2000s,
yep.
where it was like great regular season team, and then Yanni Lokinen decides to duck it when a shot goes towards him to the net. And instead of, blocking it, he ducks and it goes into the net. Like, dude, this
Mm-hmm.
is the playoffs. You stick your face in front of that puck.
Yep.
Like you got to full on commit. And like the Leafs, it's the same thing. There's no full on commit. Like, like I, Mitch Marner deserves to be ripped for how he played in the playoffs.
Oh,
He,
absolutely.
there were plays where he would like skate away from people and not go get the puck because he didn't want to engage. It's like, dude, every second of possession in the playoffs is invaluable. Like, you gotta put it all on the line. Like, get in there.
Yeah. It's but like he's soft. He plays soft. He doesn't go through um like he's not willing to make the sacrifices to win, right?
He's not putting he and this is sort of as a coach. I see this with some of the kids. Like they think their level of commitment is is the highest level of commitment. And it's like, no, man, no. There is another level and you just don't see it. Like
Yep.
you're looking up above and you can't see it. Because Mitch Marner, like he is a great player. And wherever if he gets traded somewhere else, they'll have a great player. But
Yeah.
they're gonna need somebody that will and I remember the 87 Super Series with when Mario Lemieux went and played with Wayne Gretzky. And I think to me, this was the turning point in Lemieux's career. He went from a good player to an unbelievably high level player. And I think
Yep.
playing with Wayne Gretzky,
Yep.
he now knew how he had to escalate his game to a higher level. And he just like from then on was Pittsburgh winning their cups.
Yep.
And I think Mitch Marner needs to play with a guy. And I don't know who that is right now, but it ain't Austin Matthews because I think Austin Matthews, it's the same kind of thing where he plays well, but he's not like there's another level you have to bring yourself to in the playoffs,
Okay.
and they don't do it.
As much as I'm gonna hate to say this, but Mitch Marner needs to spend some time with Matthew Tkachuk.
Well, yeah, there's a perfect example.
You know,
Guy,
with Mark Stone. he needs to spend some time with those guys. So
Just it's crazy. It's crazy watching them, and I hate it when I see a coach lose their job through no fault of their own, really. Because I like Sheldon Keefe was not a perfect coach, but he was not the problem. But you
no,
got to, who do you move, right? You're not moving Austin Matthews. But you remember the Montreal back in the day? They had Stephane Richer, and they traded Stephane Richer for Kirk Muller.
yep,
I hated that trade at the time, but that trade is why they won their cup.
mm-hmm,
And it was Kirk Muller was that guy, and
yep,
Stephane Richer wasn't that guy.
yep.
And like they got a better player in New Jersey. It was to New Jersey, I'm sure of it. It was they got a better player in New Jersey, but they got a better winner in Montreal.
They
Who,
got more. New Jersey got more skills, but
yeah,
Montreal got more heart and more tenacity and more aggressiveness and everything.
and I really believe that trade. And I again, I hated it at the time. I remember because as a kid, I loved Richer. I hated it, but Montreal came away from that trade a way better team and a whole lot tougher to beat in the playoffs. And maybe Toronto needs to find that Mitch
Yep.
Marner for Kirk Muller trade
Trade
out there.
trade trade skill for grit.
Well, because Muller had skill. He was a really good player, but he was just a way different type of good player.
Mm-hmm.
And it's, like Mitch Marner for Kachuk. Florida ain't making that trade. But Mitch Marner for there's got to be somebody that would be like, yeah, that one. So I thought Claude Giroux was going to be that guy coming into Ottawa, but he's not.
But he, he is. He's just that Ottawa, first of all, needs a goalie to make a stop every once in a while,
Oh, yeah.
right? It's that's the main thing is they need a and they need a defense that's able to make a stop. So
I,
if
well,
there's
I like I find myself trying to defend Jacob Chikrin and his minus 25. I think he was minus 25 this year or something.
or
Something god
minus
awful.
30, I think.
Yeah, something god awful. And maybe I'm thinking it was at minus 25 some point. Um, but I don't know, like so many times where it's just like that went in. That should not have gone in. Like,
But it's
so many times this year where
but it's not like I just don't think it's uh it was all like I just find Chikrin was the wrong fit for Ottawa. Like not that he was a bad player, he's just not the right fit. So
see, I'd rather like is Shabbat though? Like, would you rather like you would rather keep Shabbat than Chikrin? I
no,
can get. I will listen to the conversation. Like, I don't think Chikrin gets along with Kachuk and Stutzla and those guys personally, as well as Shabbat does.
yes, I agree with
I
you
think.
on that point.
I think socially, there is a gap there.
Yep.
But I don't. I as a player, I think Chikrin is a much better defenseman than Shabbat. And I don't know why they wouldn't want to try to trade Shabbat instead of Chikrin.
Well, first of all, they can't trade Shabbat in the right now because he got hurt and just had a wrist operation. So they would have to wait until he's ready to go and he's cleared his help.
Oh, okay.
So and that's not gonna happen until training camp. And you
Well,
can't wait until training camp to trade Shabbat or Chikrin. So
you can't trade either of them.
You can trade Chikrin, but you can't wait until training camp to make a decision of which one you're gonna trade, right?
Well, I figured they would,
Like,
like, honestly, like the way that the media talks, right? And I hate the media for this shit. Like, it's like Chikrin's gone. And I'm like, why would necessarily Chikrin be the guy that goes?
well, you're not gonna trade Sanderson,
Okay, no, no,
so
at no
so
point.
so you now it leaves you and you need right shot D, so you're not gonna trade Zub. Um, Brandstrom has no value and doesn't really matter what you do with him. Uh, Bernard Docker has very little value. It doesn't matter what you do with him. So now you have a choice between Chikrin and Thomas Chabot. And Chabot is recovering from a wrist injury. And he has 4 more years at $8 million. So it's a bigger ticket to trade. And then Chikrin is on the last year of his deal. He's he's healthy. So you can't trade Chabot unless a team is willing to take a chance on him. You can't trade Chabot. And I think Ottawa should trade Josh Norris, but he's recovering from shoulder surgery, so they can't trade him.
And he seems to be only good for about 40 games a year anyway, right?
Yeah. So
So
to
they
me
just
that
gotta pay Pinto. They gotta pay Pinto.
yes,
Just write him the check, sign him up, let's go.
it just sign him up. I signed him up. Well, wasn't that hard?
Oh man. You okay. For all the bad luck you've had in the DCHL, that right there paid off most of that debt because
Yes. Yes.
that worked out very much in your favor.
It did.
Like even the
Absolutely.
delay on it. Now you had to wait a little bit. He was still on his ELC, right?
Yep.
And
Yep.
then when he signed the deal, you were able to go long with him. So if you'd sent in your signing early, you wouldn't have got the ELC,
No, I waited.
or you would have been stuck to 2 years with the ELC.
I was ready to go from
Yeah,
day one when you
no,
announced that we could send him in.
no.
I was like,
You and Corey won the lottery. You and because Corey signed. Who was it that Corey signed like the day before his Nylander? Was it Nylander? I think it was Nylander.
yes, I
He
remember.
signed Nylander like the day before Nylander's contract came through because people were messaging me when did Corey send in that, and I'm like, I've got the timestamp. I know exact because there
And
was
he
a
got him
problem
for
with one
seven
of
million
Corey's. There was another
instead of
problem with
11.
Corey's contract with another one, and I'm like, and he's like, I'll fix that, but and I'm like, you are locked in on William Nylander. Like you can fix anything you want, but you can't fix Nylander because he signed. And he's like, okay. And then the contract came out, and people were like, hold on. Oh, Nylander was locked in. I can prove the timestamps, people.
Yep.
And it was like days apart. Like it was like the weekend it came out. He got it in before. Like that's
So,
good job, Corey.
and
Good
you have
job.
no idea how like I was freaking out. I'm like, if he signs for like $4 million, but I was like, there's no way they can't afford to.
Well, what I was, and I don't know how the collective bargaining agreement works. What I was worried about for you, and when I say worried about, I was kind of hoping this might happen, is they signed him to a contract for 1 year, but then they'd also sign him to another contract like the day later that kicks in on July 1st. Because I think they can do that, right?
Yeah.
So like they say, okay, we're signing you to 750,000 or whatever the contract was.
Hmm.
But then the next day, we're signing you to a 5 year, $6 million contract.
Yeah.
And you have to stick with the latest contract. And if the latest contract is the one that comes out the day later and it's, 6 million or whatever,
And I haven't sent in my contract.
and you haven't sent it in, too bad, so sad. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, as a divisional rival, but as a human being, I'd be like, oh, that sucks. But
As a
it's also huge,
divisional
huh?
rival, you'd
So,
be like,
ha, sucker,
yes. Yeah,
right up there with the lawnmower gate from when you were mowing your lawn during the draft.
I know,
So
eh?
felt
Yeah.
bad, but I also didn't feel bad,
It's
especially when you
okay.
got
It
a good
turned out
prospect
okay.
out of it. Yeah, you
It
got a
turned out
good
okay.
prospect. Like I kind of wish you got like some shit guy that I was
No.
like, ha, sucker, mow your lawn, hold up the draft. This is what you get. Ha. But
And you know what? The thing that pissed me off is I don't think anybody follows the DCHL draft as closely as I do. Like
well, I know
I
one
am
person.
on the whole time, and then besides you,
Yeah.
and then it's my turn, and I'm mowing my lawn.
Oh, well, and this is the thing, like that day, I must have sent you like 6 messages.
Well, I can't hear anything. I'm sitting on the lawnmower.
I'm like gonna call your wife. I'm calling Marlon to drive to do a wellness
Um,
check. I think Jean's dead. He's up in the draft and he's not making his pick. Something must be wrong.
and Marlon lives an hour away from where I do, so
Wait, Steve, are you serious? He's supposed to draft it. He's not. Oh my God, I'm on it.
yeah.
Oh God. My only other funny story with Marlon, since we're talking, and Marlon and Errol, and nobody else except you and me, or no, Marlon and Errol are are black. I can say that. We go to a football draft pool one year in Johnstown. Is it Kempville?
Yep.
It's like the middle of nowhere, small town. This is like Kempville 10, 15 years ago. Like this is a long time ago,
Oh,
Kempville.
longer than that.
Like, and
Probably
John,
20.
Marlon and Errol need to go to a bank. And so we pull up to a bank machine in Kempville. And I'm gonna wait in the car while they go in to get cash. And while they're in the bank machine, I'm literally going, okay, I'm a guy with two black guys who just walked into a bank in Kempville, Ontario. I am pretty sure the police are going to be by here to arrest any second.
It's back then there was no black guys, and
I,
I think there might have been one or two.
well, it was, and I made the joke when Marlon and Errol came back, and this won't surprise you, but Marlon thought it was funny. Errol didn't think it was so funny, but it was it was kind of funny for me anyway, being the guy sitting like it's like I'm in the getaway car waiting for them to go into the bank. I
Yeah.
don't know. So anyway, those are old memories from way back from Kempville, Ontario. Was it Kempville?
Yep. Yep. It's
Wow.
well,
The
it's the
old city
municipality
hall.
in North Grenville, but it's Kempville, Ontario, the town
Yeah.
of Kempville.
Wow.
That's where you were. That's where we held the draft for like many years. It was a lot of fun back then.
Oh, that was a
The
cool
live
place to do it
drafts.
too. We never turned the microphones on though.
No.
We were in council chambers, right?
Yep. Yep. Used
That was
to
good.
use the council chambers desk to run our draft for a couple of years, not every year,
Yeah,
just a couple
no,
of years.
it was good. I still have my football binder somewhere in here. Still have that binder from back in the old days. I'm horrible
Yeah.
for throwing shit out.
We all had binders back then.
Oh, and laptops were just starting to be a thing. They were just
Yep.
people were starting to come in with laptops, and I wrote everything out on paper in Excel. Yeah.
So,
So cool. What else? What else have we not talked about? NHL playoffs. Are you happy with how things are going?
you know what? Well, my team is not in the playoffs, so I'm happy. I'm cheering for the Oilers, um, to try to win the cup. Um, for a reason is I like skill. I like great players, and I want to see greatness. And seeing Draisaitl and McDavid win the cup to me would be awesome.
yeah, I mean, that's really why I'm Edmonton, rooting for Edmonton here. Is I just want to see McDavid win one. Like,
Eh,
he's top 10 greatest players of all time, in my opinion. And he's got to win a cup.
yep. So I'd like him to sit to win the cup, and it's a Canadian team, and it's been since 1994 that a team has won the cup. So a Canadian team has won the cup. So I'd like to see that.
About time. It's about time
Yeah.
some Canadian team gets back in the game. Although, that the Vancouver series was great. I was a little disappointed Vancouver's playing game, and the last two games really, but in Game 7, like, guys, you got to bring it. I guess they brought
Hmm.
it for the third period, late in the third, but
The last 5 minutes.
yeah. Well, it was 3-0, and then somebody went to the bathroom and came back, and it was 3-2. Like, it
Yeah.
was, but then that was it. I mean, Edmonton was just, I don't know. Maybe they raised their game. Maybe Vancouver didn't, but it would be exciting to see Edmonton win it. Oh, what do you think of the Rangers
In
and
Florida,
Florida? You what? I didn't watch any of the games today, so you
I
told me the
didn't watch
score.
today's game. But I think I'm shocked that the Rangers are up 2-1. They won two games in overtime because I think the Florida Panthers and of the NHL are awesome, and they don't have a lot of weaknesses. So yeah, like I'm surprised that the Rangers are 2-1. Not saying the Rangers are not a good team. I just think the Panthers are so much better.
Well, I'm surprised the Rangers have gotten this far, to be honest. Like, I mean, Shesterkin's been great, but I mean, I'm surprised they're where they are.
And did you know? And I just clicked on the Rangers to look at their top scorers. Panarin had 120 points this year.
No, I
Did you
didn't
know that?
notice that. No,
49 goals, 71 assists, 120 points. I didn't know that.
wow, that's a pretty quiet. How come
100
nobody was talking about him for
MVP
MVP? Yeah.
because Kucherov, McDavid, McKinnon were just out of this world good this year.
Well, did McKinnon finish the year scoring a point every game at in Colorado? Like, that's pretty impressive.
Yes, I think so.
And Matthews' 69 goals is
Yeah.
amazing as well. But yeah, I guess it's more just everyone
And you
else
have
was
two guys that have
crazy better.
100 assists, and McDavid and Kucherov.
Yeah.
So
Well, to me, it's McDavid, but I'm biased in that I think McDavid is the greatest player in the world. So there's no point. Like, that award just should be his. Like, and I mean,
yeah,
that's
yes, he's awesome.
so. Like I said, I top 10 players of all time. Maybe we should do a show sometime on who we think the top 10 players of all time are. But McDavid's in there for sure.
I I think
I
we
mean,
might agree on the top four,
okay, well,
and
I can do top four for sure.
well, let's go top five.
Okay. Uh, I have Bobby Orr at one.
I have Gretzky at one.
Okay, well, then we're one and two. I assume we're one and two because I'm
Yeah,
Gretzky at two.
Bobby Orr's number two,
And
and
I,
the reason is just I don't know if you know about this stat, but if let's say Wayne Gretzky would not have scored one goal in his career, he would still be the NHL all-time top scorer by 71 points
yeah,
without a goal.
I,
To me, that stat just blows me away. And
and
Bobby
the only thing
only
I would
played,
say about Bobby Orr was what he did had had never even been considered possible before. He completely changed the way defense played.
yeah,
Like, and he did it part of his career on one leg. Like his knee was awful for like the last 5 or 6 years of his career, and he didn't have a long career.
Yeah.
So, to me, Bobby Orr is just that little bit better. But I will I will hear the discussion. And for me, again, it's kind of the same thing at 3 and 4, in that it's Gordie Howe and Mario Lemieux.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like right now I say Lemieux Howe, but I could wake up tomorrow and say Howe Lemieux. Like they were, and I got to see Gordie Howe play. Now he was older,
Yeah.
but like he's been in my lifetime that I have seen him play professional hockey in the NHL. So,
So yeah, and I will tell you,
and I know who my number 5 is if you want to do that.
just a minute on Mary Lemieux, another stat that will drive it. I don't understand how Mary Lemieux and can't remember the year, but had 85 goals and 199 points. 85 goal, 114 assists, and he was not MVP. He didn't win the MVP that year.
Oh my God. I
Okay,
just,
no,
for
no,
me, Lemieux, the year Lemieux came back from cancer and
yeah,
still won the scoring title. Like he
yes,
missed half the season and he
and he won
still,
the
it
scoring.
wasn't even close. He won the scoring title.
Yeah. So to
Like,
me, those four guys are like they're the Mount Rushmore of NHL. Those four guys doesn't even
okay,
come
well,
close.
I might put because I really think Maurice Richard is
Yes,
is my number 5. And I think he's closer to Gordie Howe and Mario Lemieux than he is to whoever we decided to put at 6. And
I
my
don't know.
6 would
I
be,
have a different guy at 5.
oh, really?
Yeah,
Bum, bum, bum. If you say Sidney Crosby, I'm driving up and smacking you.
could drive up and smack.
Oh, come on. Come on. Nobody
It's
whined more than Sidney. Come on.
okay.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
Sidney Crosby
Like Crosby's in my top 10. Like, like I'm not
has
shitting on Sidney
been
Crosby,
awesome.
but I,
Okay,
I just remember all the whining, and
okay. He is got. Okay, remember that we are not in the what should we call it? The the live puck era. Okay. He's got almost 1,600 points, almost 600 goals. He missed um there was a year and a half where he played in 2011, in 2010, 2011 he played 41 games. In 2011, 2012 he played 22 games. In 2012 to 2013 he played 36 games. That's when he had his issue with the concussion where Steckel went headhunting with his elbow to his head.
yeah,
But the guy has been like, and then back 1920, well, and then like since then it was the COVID years were the only years where he missed more than 5 games a year through the COVID era. And and every year, if you look at his stat, okay, he is always over a point a game. Every year, over a point a game in his career. Nobody's done that. I think he's the only guy that
and,
every year he's played in the NHL. Okay, and
and
he hasn't just played 5 years. He's
and
been
if you
playing
wanted to
since
put him at number
2005.
6,
Hey,
or sorry, but I say everything you're saying I agree with, except Richard did it before the age of Zamboni, where by the third period they were playing in snow, and it was like ice
yeah,
was shit,
yeah.
and
And I'm not saying the Rocket to me is number 6. I'm just saying Crosby has been consistent and he's been consistently great all of his life, all of
Sure.
his entire career.
I just,
Like
what time are you leaving for work in the morning? I gotta get there now.
19 years in a row. Just so you understand what I'm just saying.
I,
19 years in a row being over a point a game. And it's not like I think the closest one was the COVID year where he had 47 points in 41 games. Then he had 89 points in 82 games in 17-18. But every other year, he is like way above his point a game.
well, I'm gonna say
Like,
one more thing on this show. My wife likes you. You just lost like 10 points. When I tell her this, she might never invite you over again.
okay, well,
You're like, there's
it's
a big anti Sidney Crosby thing in this house, and you might have crossed the line. I'll try to soften the blow for you,
okay,
but
but huge Sidney
wow,
Crosby fan.
yeah,
Huge.
Sidney Crosby's a great player. I I agree, 100%. But I just would take the Rocket over him every day of the week. Like if we were doing pick'ems on a fantasy team, and I had to look between those two guys, it's Rocket Richard. You're
Yeah.
coming over here. One thing I will say is with a conversation like this, I do hate the Bobby Orr Wayne Gretzky because a defenseman versus a forward. I like
Yeah.
doing it more,
Hmm.
separating the positions. Like even center and wing is a little bit difficult, but
Yeah.
like like you can't even put a goaltender in this conversation because how does Martin Brodeur, Patrick Roy, Dominic Hasek, three of probably the top five goalies. Like I don't think we can fight too much on that compared to Sidney Crosby, Wayne Gretzky, and any of these guys, right? Where would
Hmm.
they like you have to do goalies separate.
Yeah, I agree.
And you and like I even think you have to do defense separate than forwards.
So,
But then the gulf between Bobby Orr and number two is in my mind, and there's good defensemen out there like Nicholas Lidstrom and Paul Coffey, and I'm sure there's more.
then Dennis Potvin, Ray Bork.
Uh, yeah, but the gap, like Bobby Orr, is the is
Yeah,
the he's the standard.
yeah.
So cool. Maybe some of our listeners can leave their choices in the comments below.
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
They
So I am free next weekend if you're
I
available.
think I am also. I don't have any plans.
Okay, because we might be
So,
kicking off the finals by then,
yeah.
or we're into the finals. Because I don't
Oh,
know
well,
where's Buffalo and Philly at this point.
just let me take a look.
Because I know our Arizona got eliminated. Sorry,
Yeah.
Trevor.
Congrats to the Oilers.
Yeah,
And Buffalo is up 3-2 on Philly. So,
Buffalo's up 3-2. Wow,
yeah.
wow. Okay.
And personally, I'm not saying that Ian, I think this is going to be Buffalo's last run as a Stanley Cup contender for unless Ian can pull some magic.
Well, he's gonna have to do something in the offseason. He's gonna have to do now. He will have money in the cap, like because money's coming off his cap. But
Yes,
I
but
think he's coming down to earth a little bit in our division.
he will always be good because of
Yeah.
Shurchikin,
Uh,
but he's
yes, sure,
losing.
chicken, Sir
Yeah,
Chicken. Yes.
he's losing Kane, Malkin, Hyman, uh, Akampa, and well,
Yeah.
and a
He's
big
not gonna be able
guy.
to re-sign all those guys.
No, well, even if he tries to re-sign them, he's got 44 million dollars in cash. So
Well,
it's
he'll
gonna
get more cash because he's on the bond. He'll get more cash because he'll buy more from the
yeah,
uh,
but but if
from the stores. But I and like as much as I hate to say this, and hopefully Ian's not listening, he's a shrewd GM. He'll figure shit out.
oh, I'm not saying, I'm just saying that right now losing Kane and Malkin is huge.
It's gonna hurt, and he's not going to be able to re-sign them both. I don't think. And maybe I'm wrong because I think Kane's going to be well rated.
So, but even if he, well, let's take a look now
Because
at
I'll
the
tell you
pending
right now, I can
UFAs.
if I can sign Kane, I will. Like I'll be
Okay,
putting bids in on Patrick Kane.
pending UFAs, the top forwards are Stamkos, Panarin, Tavares, Malkin, Kane, Pavelski, Iman, O'Reilly, Riley Smith, and Jamie Benn.
Well, the first
Oh,
three
and
names you mentioned are going for like 15 million plus for 5 plus years.
yeah,
Like if like I wouldn't be surprised if Stamkos gets maxed out. How old is Stamkos? He's got to be still. You can still go 5 years on him, right?
yes, 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 yes.
So like
32,
Stamkos,
something like that.
what's that?
34.
Yeah. So as long as you're under 35,
So,
so Stamkos will be max term. What's Patrick Kane? He's got to be around the same. Like he's not that old.
Kane is going to be older, 35. So he can only do 2 years on Patrick Kane.
Okay, well he'll be 2 years at 16 million. Like
You
if
think he's
I'm
going to go
wrong,
that high? I'm thinking
well,
Kane is going to be like 8 or 9
I
because this year,
I'll have lots of cap space, and I'll be looking for a center. Patrick
because
Kane will be
Patrick
a guy
Kane
that I
this
would like
year had 47 points in 50 games.
in the NHL.
Yeah.
He's going to be really well rated.
But you know who I think is like Zach Hyman.
Oh,
How high
his
is Zach Hyman going to go?
scoring rate or rate is going to be like 98.
So
The rating is going to be like amazing, and
yeah,
he's going to go. He'll go because he's young too, right?
yeah,
He'll go for like 5 years, 6 years at 15 plus million.
yeah.
Somebody
Hyman
will
is
spend it.
32.
Yeah, somebody will spend it. I won't spend it on Hyman, but somebody will. And
Well, I think that the top 10 are going to be close to 10 million. That's just the forwards. So, and then
yeah,
defense, you have Spurgeon, Brent Burns again, Doughty, Larson,
Virgin's
Brady
going to get a
Gay.
big contract.
So,
Yeah, it's going to be this year's free agency will be real interesting. I think. And Ian will get some guys, and he'll be.
yeah, I just don't think he's going to have to trade to get a Malkin Kane, Hyman. You know what I
Well, he's
mean?
got his first round pick, and we both like. I think I have told you who I think. I told Ian who I think his first round pick is.
And I agree with you.
Yeah, but like maybe he trades that first round pick. And it would like for the player that we suggested, I don't know that that would be a bad idea. Um, I don't like I don't know about you, but I ain't picking that player with my first round pick,
No, I'm not. I'm not either.
and I don't know that I would pick that player with my second round pick unless a lot of weird shit happens on the draft board.
Well, if Ian has, well, he's going to end up his second round pick is going to be what, 61
Does he still
to
have a second? I
64.
thought he didn't have it.
Oh no, I own. Who owns his second round pick? Oh, he doesn't own it.
He
I know
does
that.
own it.
He doesn't.
Okay,
I think
so
it's what's I think Seattle owns it.
yeah, he's not going to wait till the third round. So yeah, no, because the player that we've talked about and DCHL, yeah, we're not saying so. Suck it. Do your own homework. Um, that player ain't going to be around to the third round because
No.
I might be taking him. Like by the third round, I'm going to be like, okay, because he's on my draft board. Uh, right now, I think he's in the 50s, maybe 60s. But my draft board is not the same as like a Bob McKenzie one. Like it's quite possible a guy in my 50s goes through into the fourth round. So, but the third round,
If he's there in the second round, New Jersey's gonna draft him with the
well,
Islanders pick.
yeah, like because he did that with Kuzmenko
Yeah.
and the defenseman Blankenberg. So a guy like that is going to snap him up.
Mm-hmm.
So
So Ian, take him in the first
Ian,
one.
for the first, and my message to Ian was with the Buffalo Sabres first round selection, and then sent him a like a link to the signing or whatever it was, the players hockey DB page or something like
Yeah.
some information that basically said, yeah, this is who he is. And Ian didn't say no, but he didn't say yes either. But I mean, this guy is like, I like this player. I like this player. He's
Yeah.
definitely, if nobody took him in our draft, I guarantee at some point I'm taking him in our draft. I just not not in my first round.
Well,
But
as I told you before, last year I was sure that Schmeckel was going to end up being an NHL player, and I wasted a third round pick on him.
well, and everyone talked about Ian's Ian's use of a first round pick on the defenseman, the Russian defenseman. Oh, what's his name?
Nikishin.
Nikishin. And it's like Nikishin's not coming over this year either.
No.
And he's apparently buddy buddy with Putin. So he might be staying. Like, and I did not hate Ian's use of the first round pick last year on Nikishin.
Oh,
I wouldn't have done it, but I respected it. Like it was a reasonable pick. Like that's a high swing. That's a a home run swing type pick.
mm-hmm. Yeah.
But there's also a strikeout possibility on this pick.
Yeah, they could be. So, Steve, I'm gonna have to either um, plug in my laptop or let you go because
Oh, let's log out. Let's log out now. This is a good
okay,
spot to stop. I'm kind of bagged anyway from yelling at children all weekend.
yeah, and we've been at this for an hour and a half, I think.
Oh, really? I missed you, Jean. I,
Okay,
I
this
I'm
has
not
been
crying.
fun.
You're crying.
I know. I'm not crying. You're crying.
Okay. So no, well, thanks a lot for hopping on and to our let's see how many people to our three concurrent viewers right now.
Yep.
Bienvenue, and we'll see you maybe next week because I'm around next week. I don't know if Sean is, but
I am. I am
okay. So maybe we'll do
available next week.
we'll put a little more structure into next week's show. But there was just so much to talk about too. So
Yeah.
okay, and we need
Okay.
to do a mock draft at some point soon. So
Yes.
we'll do one of those. Okay, so
Soon.
we'll let me just sign off here on YouTube. Bye everybody, and we'll see you later. Oh, and we had